Hey, my name's Ryan. I'm a colorist in Vancouver BC and interested in all things tech and creative when it comes to post-production. A few months ago, I decided to build a home color grading suite. I've still got a studio that I go to sit down and collaborate with clients in person, but a lot of my clients now like working remotely. So I thought I'd take the opportunity, build a suite at home, spend more time with my family, save a couple bucks on rent at the studio while I'm at it. The challenge is I don't have a lot of space to do that. It's expensive to rent here, as it is in a lot of places now. I've got a family of 5. We were able to find a 4-bedroom place for a fairly decent price, but it's still only 1,200 square feet. And so I'm not going to have my own room to set up controlled lighting and all that. So I had to make it a flex space, make it work for all of us. And I think it turned out really well. So let's go check it out. And here's the place. Again, not very big, but we like it. Right over here is the room that I'll show you. And this is it. What really made this space work was finding this 8-foot work surface that the family can work on one side here. Got my kid building his Land Rover Defender out of Lego here. And then the other half of the space is my work surface right here. The table itself we got from Uline. It's solid maple, nice and thick. It's actually a packing table surface. It's still 600 bucks or so, but it works out really well. And then we just got some metal legs from Etsy to go with that. On the floor, just a rug, and on the wall, some hexagonal tiles from Amazon just to help with acoustics in the room so it's not super bouncy with all these hard surfaces. What really makes this whole setup work so well is this M2 Max MacBook Pro. It runs Resolve super well. I mean, I might have to cache footage if I'm running raw with noise reduction on it, that kind of thing, but otherwise it's fantastic. I've got the Ultra Studio 4K Mini plugged into it with Thunderbolt. I've got an HDMI running straight to the reference monitor. I've also got the SDI output of the 4K Mini going back to its own input. That is the signal that Omniscope here is getting to do my scopes. This little monitor got from AliExpress. It's awesome. I've got just one cable here for both video and power that's running to a Thunderbolt hub. The reference monitor is an LG 27 EP950, which is fantastic for the price. I used Calman to calibrate it, and it's really bang on when it comes to Rec 709. Actually, I lied. I don't have the HDMI going straight from the Ultra Studio to the LG. The LG only has one HDMI input. So to switch to my Mac HDMI output so I can run other software on the bigger monitor, what I'm doing is I'm running the HDMI from the Ultra Studio and from the Mac to an HDMI matrix switcher. And I've got this little remote control. I can switch between one and the other pretty quickly. On the desk here, I've got the Blackmagic micro panel. It's pretty small, so I'm using these 2 Stream Decks on the left here for all kinds of Resolve shortcuts. On the right-hand side here for printer points, which is how I like grading. I have got these little Creative Pebble Pro speakers, which work really well for the size. I don't have a lot of space on the desk for speakers, so these sound great. I think they look pretty all right as well. Also on the Stream Decks, I've got a plug-in that can switch between the Pebble speakers here and headphones. I've got some Bose noise canceling headphones just under the desk here. This really helps with focus when the rest of the family is working over there. I can be in my own zone. What I've done for the window is get this gray blind from Amazon. Covers the window really well, blocks out all the light, and also gives me a gray surround on that side. Painted that gray on that side. And then for lighting, I've got software on the Mac called Home Control that allows me to cue HomeKit scenes. So right now we're on the bright scene. If I hit the dim scene, lights kind of go down. This is kind of nice for just working and focusing. And then I've also got the grading scene. Changes the color temperature of my lamp there. And now I've got the backlight going and nice little warm light up in the corner, but that doesn't really distract from the image once I'm focused into it here. Update, it's now 2 days later finishing up this video and the Land Rover is done. I got this for my kid for Christmas. It's now September. Lego, when they designed this, there's just a bit too much friction in the drivetrain, so we rebuilt it a couple times, didn't work. Ended up getting some extra parts and a whole new set of instructions for a redesigned gearbox on the internet, and that worked really well, and my kid is super stoked. The last thing to show you all is under the desk here. I've got all the cables strung up under here in a somewhat tidy fashion. That HDMI matrix switcher I was talking about, USB hubs, OWC Thunderbolt hub that I mentioned, plugged into an NVMe drive for Resolve Scratch and all that. I've also got a 10 gig Ethernet to Thunderbolt 3 adapter plugged into the MacBook via the hub. That is also that I can connect to this NAS that I built here. I'll probably do a whole separate video on this NAS, but the reason I got this as opposed to just a hard drive plugged into the computer is that I wanted it to be able to sync with the NAS at my office. And I wanted to be able to do that even when my MacBook Pro wasn't here in the office, to be able to continue syncing. I needed to be really silent, small, and have 10 gig Ethernet, as well as have quite a lot of storage. I think this has around 70 terabytes in it. I could have picked something up off the shelf, but the chassis for this only came into about $1,000 Canadian. And I wanted the challenge of building something custom as well. So I'm running Rocky Linux 8 on it, as well as 45 drives Houston UI software. But again, I'll get into that in another video. That's about it. I've got some links to some of the gear I use in the description. Until next time.